Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. It's Tuesday, I think. It's the day after a Monday holiday in the midst of a shelter-in-place inducing global pandemic. I'm not even sure what day it is, but that's all right because this is the first in our next series here on LinkedIn Live. I am David JP Fisher. Everybody just calls me D Fish or D. Feel free to do so. And this week, we are going to look at the State of Sales report that just came out on LinkedIn. Really excited about this. I had a chance to talk to some of the authors and instigators of this report before it even came out. Didn't get to hear any of the fun, juicy details, but I was pretty excited about seeing what was in there. And there's a lot of great stuff. And so what I'm going to do this week is actually go through a couple of the highlights in the LinkedIn State of Sales and really look at how you can use the insights and the trends that we see in that State of Sales report to do your job more effectively as a sales professional or as somebody who sells, whether that's because you're a business owner, you've got a startup, you're an entrepreneur, you are a solo service provider, whatever it might be. We're going to talk about what's in that State of Sales report, and of course, how to actually use this on a daily basis. So that's what we're going to do for the next 4 days, and I'm pretty excited about that. I'm also excited because this is the last of the daily LinkedIn Live series that I will be doing for at least the foreseeable future. My goal was to do this throughout the shelter-in-place order. I'm here in the Chicago area, and so it's kind of loosening up a little bit this week. I know what's happening across country is very different places. But when we get to Friday, I will have done 49 of these daily LinkedIn Lives. And it's been a lot. I'm so glad that I've got a chance to do it. But I'm going to take a little bit of a pause. I will still be doing LinkedIn Lives. I'm not quite sure what format that will be, how often, daily, weekly, specific days, if I'll be like a guerrilla LinkedIn Live person. Gorilla with a U, not an O. That would be a Gorilla with an O LinkedIn Live. I'm not sure what that would look like. But thank you to everybody who has been joining me for these. If this is your first time, welcome. If you've been a regular, thank you. As always, just go ahead and throw down in the comment section where you're coming at us from, what city, state, zip code, neighborhood, country, wherever you're at. Give us a shout out just so we know some of the people that are here with us live, and also lets me know that I'm not just yelling out into the void. And of course, if you're watching this on recording, thank you for that. Remember, we have all of our sessions on our YouTube channel, youtube.com/user/David JP Fisher, going all the way back to the beginning when we were talking about how to deal with uncertainty and looking at how to post on LinkedIn, how to network online, both through LinkedIn, but also Zoom and all those other kind of fun tools that we have available. All of those series are there. So do definitely take a chance to look at that. What's up, Katie Lane? Great to see that you could make it live with us today. Thank you for joining us. And I said, I think you guys are going to really like this series. It's going to be filled with some strategy, some tactics, all kinds of good stuff. All right. What's up? Hey, Marcus. Thanks for joining us from the heart of Chicago. Very cool. And so anyways, as far as the State of Sales report is concerned, I highly recommend taking a look at this. This is something that LinkedIn has done for the past few years. Oh, who else jumped in? All right, Alita coming back from Kenosha, Wisconsin. All right, I love it. And fellow cheesehead in the house. Anyways, I highly recommend you take a look at the LinkedIn State of Sales report. Really interesting. They've been doing it for the past couple of years, a pretty good amount of research where they team up with Miller Hyman, which now has a different name that I'm forgetting, something Corn, they just got bought. So there's another company here. It's Corn Ferry. There we go. But they actually, put a good amount of time, effort, and resources into really doing some polling of the sales professionals. And it's always been really fascinating. If you want to check out that State of Sales report, and I suggest you do, it's a really long URL. So what I really suggest, go to Google and just Google LinkedIn State of Sales 2020. It'll be one of the first websites that pops up. You can download it. I think you might have to put in your email address to get it. Well worth it. And it's pretty simple. It's only about a 22-page report. It said it's really well written, really well put together. And what I want to do today is really just kind of look at a few of the big pieces. And then again, we're going to be able to dive in the next couple of days into very specific parts of the State of Sales report that I think are going to have a huge impact, not only now, but in the near future and probably even the far future of how we sell, how we engage, and how we interact. And one thing I should point out too is, like, I don't work for LinkedIn. Yes, I am a LinkedIn sales influencer. But I'm not an employee. I'm just saying, hey, check it out. I think nothing I say here is official by any means. And also, I think it's really well done, but it is definitely still a report put together by a for-profit organization around selling. I'm not saying that there's ulterior motives necessarily, but we got to at least keep that in mind as we're kind of parsing through the information. Just want to make sure I put that disclaimer out there. But that being said, what does the LinkedIn State of Sales report? I mean, what is a report? What does it share? The thing that I wanted to touch on today that I think is so important for us to remember, not only based on what we're going to read in the State of Sales report, just in general, is that we are in a time of change because of the coronavirus pandemic, because of the economic upheaval we're going through. Nobody really knows what the next 6 months are going to look like. We don't know when we're going to be able to fully go out into the world, have less social distancing. There's so many variables nobody really knows. We've got 30 million plus people becoming unemployed in less than 2 months. That's going to have huge shockwaves through the economy. We don't really know that, but obviously it's going to create change. What I think is really interesting, and this is what the report pointed out, is that change was already happening. A lot of us are going to want to go, oh, things are so different because of coronavirus. Yes and no. And the no part is simply around this idea that things were changing already. In fact, here's a quote right from, let me find it, right from the report. All right. It's true that COVID-19 is driving some changes in the short term. At the same time, many trends that were clearly in motion before this year are only gaining strength in the current environment. And this echoes something that I've been saying a lot, in that this situation we're in is not driving the change, it's simply accelerating the change. Things were happening already. And even as the title of this series points out, we're talking about being a sales Sherpa. And that's something that I wrote about in Hyper-Connected Selling, something I'm pretty excited to be writing about in my next book. Oh, teaser alert. That'll be coming out in the fall. Ooh, more teaser alert. But I think that, it points out that we can't go, oh, this is a new environment that we're in. This was already happening. In January 2020, these changes were already taking place. And so we can actually take a little bit of comfort in that, I feel, because we don't have to just freak out and be like, we're in completely uncharted waters that are being driven by this nefarious virus and all the uncertainty it creates. No, this was already happening. And the things that they point to in the report were things that we were going to have to wrestle with regardless of this environment of the coronavirus. And I think that's so important for us to remember, because we're going to want to go into a place of panic and a place of freaking out. And, we can't handle this because there's so much unknowingness. It was already there. And it doesn't make it easier to manage, but I think it does make it more manageable, right? I mean, all we have to do is wrestle with these changes that were already happening. And here's the trends. I just want to highlight these. And so we'll be diving into these in the next couple of sessions, but just to highlight what they saw as the key enduring trends that when they looked at the data. All right, so here they are. Long-term metrics are stepping to the forefront. Okay, so organizations are realizing they can't just look at transactional sales. They have to look at relationships. Ding, 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 ding. That's the Sales Sherpa world all over, what I call the sales matrix. The data-driven sales organization is on the rise. This has been happening, right? Sales organizations are getting more data, and they're able to use that to have better interactions with prospects and clients. Sales technology is transforming the sales org. That was happening. We could have said that last year, right? And so even though I think technology is continuing to have a big impact on the sales profession, it's nothing new, okay? Trust gets deals done. We're going to talk tomorrow in session 2 all about what the State of Sales report has to say about trust. And it has to say a lot, both in what it's stating and what it saw, but also if you read between the lines of what's really going to be important moving forward, especially in this moment in time, trust is incredibly important. And if you can't create trust, you are really going to struggle in the sales role. Building a sales team with the right skills is challenging, right? So not only do we as salespeople have to think about the right skills that we're bringing to the forefront, but also sales leaders are often hiring for, I don't know if I want to call them the sales, the wrong sales skills, but they're hiring for the sales skills that they want, not necessarily what prospects and customers want. So if we can, as a sales professional, know what customers want and start working towards that, we're going to be really well positioned to be employed and employable in the future. Top performing salespeople do things differently. It's nothing new. I could have told you that 15 years ago. But it's also very interesting and telling to see what top salespeople are doing differently. And so we'll dive into that. Again, little spoiler alert here. They're very similar to everything I talk about in the Sales Sherpa Path. So that was exciting for me. I was like, yay, I got it right. And then finally, LinkedIn plays an expanded role for both buyers and sellers. So first of all, I think that's true. And there's some really good evidence to support that. Obviously, this is also a report done by LinkedIn. They're not going to finish off by going, LinkedIn is completely pointless. But there are actually some really, again, telling evidence, some interesting statistics. Not only that people are using it more, but how they're using it more. And so that's something we'll also be addressing as we go through the last the last days of this series. And so that's what they came up with. Again, I don't think anything in there's like, oh my gosh, that's completely mind-blowing. No, it was already happening. And I hope that you do pull a little bit of comfort from that, going, hey, even though change and uncertainty are challenges, they're not out of the ordinary. They're the things that we already are dealing with. And our ability to manage that change is going to be important. I found this statement interesting from the State of Sales report. In responding to LinkedIn's 4th annual State of Sales survey, 70% of sales managers in the United States agreed that a manager's capacity to navigate change is more important than it was 5 years ago, right? So leadership is even saying, hey, we've got to be able to navigate these changing times, because even if we can wrap our head around what's happening right now, in 2 months, in 3 months, 6 months, I mean, think about what the sales world in January 2021 is going to look like. I would argue that we kind of don't know for sure. We can see these trends, but there's a lot of variables. Do we have a vaccine? Do we not have a vaccine? Are there resurgences in COVID around the world? Does that continue to tighten our ability to go out and have conferences and in-person events and go meet with prospects and clients? Does that mean we're still going to be doing Zoom calls? There's a lot there and we don't really know. But leadership is recognizing that, hey, I have to be able to manage that uncertainty, manage that change just as much as anything else I have as a priority. I'm going to actually suggest that you as a sales professional, again, whether sales is on your business card, whether you're a business owner, whether you're a solo professional, a freelancer, a startup entrepreneur, whatever it is, you have to be able to navigate the change that's happening in the course of the next 3 to 6 to 18 months. And I don't know if that's a process that can be hacked, right? Sales, I feel over the last definitely maybe 5 years has become the very hack worthy, meaning everybody was just kind of promising the new hack that was going to help people be successful. And that's not really what's going to move us forward. We have to learn some principles. We have to be able to manage the trends that are out there. But we also at the same time have to just learn how to learn, right? That's the ability to learn a new skill in a new environment is going to be so critical. Like, I can't just tell you, oh, if you just learn the right way to do a cold call, or hey, here's the one way to do a LinkedIn profile, or here's how to post, or here's the one LinkedIn message to do, or here's the one way to build empathy. Just learn this. It's going to be much more than that. And that's why we're going to look at the trends that have been highlighted here, just to give you an idea of what we're going to look at for the next few days. Some of the big trends that I think are going to be really important. One is that we looked at trust and the importance of trust and why trust is important. That's always been kind of a shorthand in sales, right? There's the old saying, people do business with those they know, like, and trust. But I think it's becoming even more important when we look at some of the research and we look at the areas where people are losing trust. And I think if we as a salesperson can step in and actually kind of fill a trust gap, we are going to be, again, well-positioned with our prospects, our clients, but having those skills will apply in a lot of different roles. We're then going to look at tracking long-term metrics, okay? And just this idea of looking at sales beyond just the transactional, did I make a bunch of phone calls, did I get set an appointment, something like that. So what are the long-term metrics that are really driving the right activities and really looking at relationships? Because relationships, and this again is something that we've had a lot of lip service to in the past, but I think we're going to really see relationships be a critical skill, right? The ability to build a relationship. And the third thing we're going to really look at is this idea of using data in the sales process, especially from a personal point of view, right? Because I think there's a lot of data that's being looked at on an organizational level, right? Big data, or kind of the reporting on that macro level. But where are places that you can put data into play in your own personal engagements? This is really what we're also going to look at, how people are using LinkedIn, how they're using it effectively. And so those are just a couple of things that we're going to highlight. And again, I'm always big on figuring out the context, but also then figuring out how we tactically do something with that knowledge of the environment on a daily basis. All right. And again, I'm pretty excited because this dovetails really well. It truly aligns with what I've been talking about for the last few years about being a sales Sherpa, about putting yourself forward and positioning yourself as a guide for the prospects and clients that you work with, building a relationship, using empathy, using trust to build that relationship, and then helping move them forward in in their decision-making process, and helping them make a decision more easily, more effectively, and with less risk. So that's what we're going to look at for the next couple of sessions. And to circle back to what we started with today, change was already happening. This has accelerated change, obviously, but it was already happening. And our job is just to kind of surf that change, okay? The old skills that you have are not bad skills. The old sales skills, the old relationship building, interpersonal, human-to-human skills, the researching skills, the ability to prospect and do outreach and start a new conversation, the ability then to take that and cultivate the relationship, the ability to close, right? Or as I call it, move to the next step. All of that's still incredibly valuable. It's just interesting to think how change happens, right? If you've ever gone back to the gym after a little while, and maybe you're kind of you're running or you're lifting weights, the first couple of times you're like, oh man, it's so hard. And then if you keep doing it, all of a sudden you realize that you're in a different place. Hey, it used to be really hard for me to run a mile, and now I don't even really get that winded, and I do it faster. You don't know what day it changed, but it did over time. That's what we want to do with our sales skills, because again, the environment is changing, and we want to make sure that we change along with it. So that's what we're going to be covering. By the way, we've got a visitor from Ireland. Thanks, Tommy, for joining. I can call him Tommy because that's my younger brother over there. Thanks for joining us. And hey, Robert, great to see you from Wilmette. By the way, please tell people about this series if you're finding some of these ideas valuable. I'm doing this, again, once a day. This week, this will be the final week we do it live every day. It's 11:30 Central Time. I promise you'll walk away with some good skills. It's usually about 20 to 25 minutes. Also, if you are a small business owner or a solopreneur, one thing that I would suggest is you check out our Selling Launchpad. This is a coaching group specifically for solo professionals, small business owners, freelancers, solopreneurs, to help them build their sales and marketing skills. It's a really cool community of people. We got some coaching calls, but check that out. If it's something you're interested in, let me know that you saw the information here on the LinkedIn live call. We can even get you in to try it out, to audit a call at no charge. So I want to do that for you. And of course, if you know any organization or group or your sales team that would get some value from hearing about how to sell better during these times, sell online, build empathy, build relationships, use LinkedIn, anything like that, do some networking, please reach out to me, and I'd love any introductions because, as I mentioned before, I don't think we're going to be having conferences much for the rest of this year. So all of my travel schedule is gone, which is great. More time to spend with my co-host, Liam, but also, of course, need to fill my calendar again. So I'd appreciate any introduction. And as always, if there's anything else I can do to help you in your day-to-day business, please let me know. But with that, as we finish up every day, be kind, be patient. Actually, you should say be patient, be kind. I don't know. We're mixing it up a little bit. Take care of each other. Take care of one another. Thank you so much for joining me live. And hey, if you watch us through a recording on our YouTube channel, thank you for spending some time with us in your day, night, evening, morning, or afternoon. And everybody, I will see you tomorrow at 11:30. Bye.